Have you ever sat down to write and felt like you had nothing to draw on? No fire of your own, just a longing to write, a yearning to write, and no sense, no permission internally of whether you're even allowed to begin. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you have writing fire, real fire, but it's been buried so long under outlines and rules and shoulds that you can't find the flame under all that structure anymore. Or are you published, but stuck, don't know where to go in your next writing project? Wherever you are today as a writer, I want you to hear this. Your fire has never gone out. It's only been waiting. Welcome back to Healing for Your Life. I'm Dr. Gwyn Erwin. I've spent 32 years in clinical practice as a psychoanalyst and even longer working as a professional writer, editor, book doctor, and writing and creativity coach. Today I want to introduce you to something I've created just for you called Sparking the Flame. It's a short guide for writers who feel lost or overwhelmed or stuck. And I want to walk you through the heart of it in this video because I think you'll find yourself somewhere in it. There's an old hearth practice called banking the coals. It's the way we used to preserve a fire's heat overnight in a coal stove that was the center of a home or store or building or schoolroom. The way you preserve a fire's heat overnight so that it can be restarted in the morning. It can be carried somewhere new if you move, and it can even be given to someone to lend someone else to light their own fire if theirs has gone out. Nothing is lost, it's simply held quietly until it's needed again. And so the way that coals were banked was that there was sort of a trap door in the little oven, and at night the live coals that were left were dropped down into a kind of a metal box and covered with some ash, and then the lid was put over it so that they would be there all night long, so that in the morning you opened it up and had a fresh source for kindling and starting your new fire for the day. Now, it's no accident that this same process is actually what became the idea of banking in the financial world. That's where the word bank comes from, was from banking coals. Something is set aside, it's saved, it's borrowed, it's lent to others, it is compounded, the fire can grow. And so this is what I've watched happen over and over again in my clinical work. People discovering that what they thought had gone out completely, their voice, had only been banked temporarily by trauma or experience that was painful or difficult or challenging, but it is there to be rekindled. And it's also what I've watched happen over and over again in my writing work, as a coach and as an instructor, as a book doctor and as an editor, and for my own writing as an author. So let's start with the first place a writer can find themselves. Maybe you're a beginner. Maybe you're a dreamer. Maybe you even daring to call yourself a writer feels like borrowing somebody else's coals. Do you even have the right? Do you have the permission? You don't need permission. That's the core element here. You don't even need to know your whole book or article or story before you begin. Every writer has their unique writing voice with which to author material. That is your ember, even before you've made a single draw on it. You don't need more fire. You just need to notice what's already flickering inside of you. The way that I invite my students to feed that fire at any stage or phase of writing that they're in is what I call flow writing. 30 minutes a day, following a single prompt, taking dictation from your mind onto the page instead of thinking about what to write. You simply use your prompt word, and on the page, take dictation from your mind in free association. No outline, no audience, no editing, just kindling your embers. Now, maybe you're not a beginner at all. Maybe your coals have been compromised. Maybe you have dozens or hundreds of pages, unstructured but suffocated. You don't know where to go with them, or your outline is so rigid it's cutting off the oxygen your fire needs to breathe. This is where a lot of writers get stuck. It's not for a lack of discipline, but because they've only been taught one kind of structure, the outline. There is another way that I teach. Design gives your work enough shape to hold the heat and enough air to give it life. This is your architecture to build on. So if you've had a piece that you've abandoned, try asking a different question. Not what's my outline, or how do I improve my outline, or what do I do with these hundreds of pages in drawers or shoe boxes, but what design do I need to actually structure and launch my work? Now, maybe you're neither of those right now. Maybe you've been one or the other, but now you're in a different phase. Maybe your fire is real, it's just banked. You've already written, you've finished products, you've even been published, maybe more than once, and now you're stuck. I want you to hear this clearly, that being stuck is not for lack of skill. It is not because you're not a good writer. It's not because you were a one-off, one-note writer. It's because you have savings. The question is how to draw on them to light something new. What looks extinguished or suppressed isn't. Igniting doesn't mean starting over. It means tending what is already yours and letting it compound into something bigger. Wherever you are, lost, smothered, or stuck, the fire, your fire, is tended in the same way, breath by breath. What does that look like? You don't have to choose one flame over the others. You only have to know which breath you're on right now. The first breath always is flow writing. Whether you've never started, you're buried under structure, or your writing has simply gone quiet from disuse, or you don't know where to go next, this is where every writer can begin. This is the heart of my Flow Write cards and my journals and my Therapeutic Flow Write journal series. A full year of prompts, season by season, to free the writing itself. Maybe you need to take a second breath, design. Once the writing is firing through flow writing, design gives you your fundamental structure. Not a rigid outline, but a shape that, as I said, holds the heat but lets it breathe. This is exactly what my two courses, Designing Your Fiction Work and Designing Your Nonfiction Work, walk you through. Both self-paced, both with lifetime access. Breath 3 is drafting your writing to publication. And this is the 3-part course structure for beginning writers to publication. And it arrives this fall. This is where your well-designed work banks its first flow writing, is carried all the way through to its blazing realization, publication. The fire, fully grown. If you'd like to be the first to know when the waitlist opens, say subscribed here on this channel, and you can join my waitlist. The course will be launched this fall, October 2026, and I'm so excited. It is a lifetime, an adult lifetime of my work, writing as an author, coaching as a writer, teaching writing, book doctoring, editing, and encouraging people from exactly where they are into a full and rich writing process. Whether you are kindling your first banked coal, clearing away the ashes that's been smothering your fire, or ready to ignite embers that were never really gone, you are not starting from nothing. You are reigniting and relighting what was already there. I've put all of this, feeding the ember, the smothered fire ready to reignite, and the 3 breaths of feeding the fire, into a free guide called Sparking the Flame. It's yours, free, right now. You can download it from my website, and you can download it from this video. Download your free copy now. If this video spoke to something in you, your writer self, I'd love to know. Please leave a comment and tell me which part you recognize for yourself, where you are right now, your ember, the smothering or the reigniting, and what breath you need to take next to free your writing into a blazing fire and moving toward publication. Subscribe now so you don't miss anything that's coming this fall. Until next time, keep tending your fire. I am Dr. Gwyn Erwin, and welcome to Healing for Your Life.